We'll be taking is tomorrow night with young Bill Squire as your host. Local comedians are your tour guides for the Funny Bus. But we do Wednesdays in May and June. And our very last one is tomorrow night. So if you want to join Bill, I have 2 tickets remaining. I think the bus is otherwise sold out. So you'll get the last 2 seats for tomorrow night. They do tours all year long. So if you strike out here, you can still find a tour at funnybus.net because it is a lot of fun. But arguably more fun when we're there.
That's right.
So Bill will be your host tomorrow night. Leaves from Collision Bend around 7 o'clock. Last 2 tickets for you. Be caller 10. Good luck. 216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007.
What feels great to do is absolutely free, can be done by yourself, and yet no one ever mentions it.
It's the Alan Cox Show
on the Buzzard.
WMMS.
The reason I got on that whole Green Day thing is because they're one of the 30-plus artists that are getting added to the Hollywood Walk of Fame, which I thought everybody had to pay for, right? Or you got to have people sponsor you. I didn't realize that they did them in big chunks like this. Hollywood Walk of Fame has selected 36 entertainment professionals to get stars. Prince, unbelievably, does not already have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The guy's been dead for 8 years. Trey Parker and Matt Stone, of course, the guys that created South Park, will get a star. Keith Urban gets one. Ironic that a country artist is named Urban, but nevertheless.
From Australia.
And from Australia, yeah.
We got lady
Nothing
hair.
about him makes sense.
Lady hair.
Very lady hair.
Music producer Jimmy Jam. Actor Joe Mantegna, who you might remember as Fat Tony. I don't know if he still does Fat Tony on The Simpsons.
I don't see why not.
I just can't recall the last time Fat Tony was on The Simpsons. Niecy Nash. Everybody knows who Niecy Nash is?
Mm-hmm.
Reno 911.
Yeah, Reno.
And a lot of other things.
New boot goofing.
Why?
It wasn't her line, but still one of my favorite moments from that show is when Dangle gets new boots and he's new boot goofing.
Fantasia Barrino. Remember her from American Idol?
What's she doing?
Getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. They range in age this year from 39, she's the youngest person to get one, to a woman named Toni Vaz, who is 101. Wow. She was Hollywood's first black stunt woman and the co-founder of the NAACP Image Awards. Jane Fonda. How does Jane Fonda not have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, for Christ's sake? She's 86.
They had to give Donald Trump one first.
Wow.
Duh.
Emilio Estevez. Chris Wallace. Depeche Mode. Another band in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Colin Farrell. David Beckham. Alan Cumming. He's been on the show. He was attached to Bill's animated
whatever it was
Mormon project. Yeah. So the honorees were selected from hundreds of nominees a couple of weeks ago. And those are the people who are getting stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. So Depeche Mode, Green Day, the Isley Brothers, and Prince are already in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And George Strait is also on this list. Prince had an Oscar before he got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The B-52s, Busta Rhymes, woo-ha, woo-ha, got you all in check. And now he's going to be on the Jessica Chastain, Robert Englund, of course, famously played Frederick Krueger in a series of horror films. Nia Long, Hacha Hacha.
I felt very old when I made a Freddy Krueger reference and no one in the audience got it.
Where was that at?
That was at the stand on like a weekday night. I was practicing some clean jokes to potentially do on TV. And one of the jokes I talked about living next to a boiler room. And dates being like, who's that weirdo next to the water heater? And I'm like, oh, don't worry about him. That's just Mr. Krueger. Freddy, he can't hurt you while you're awake. And everybody just kind of like looked, and I was like, okay, is it not funny, or do you guys not know who Freddy Krueger is? And they were like, we don't know who Freddy Krueger is.
Really?
And I was like, get the hell. I mean, that first movie came out in like, what, 1985?
Yeah, but it's also been remade.
I know that. But
And
when
he's
was
like
the
a
last
legendary
one?
moment.
Yeah.
But that last remake was what?
10 years ago.
At least?
Yeah, Jackie Earle Haley.
So
Yeah.
if these people are 22, they were 12 when the last Freddy Krueger movie came out? And I was like, come
I
on,
just thought it was
guys.
enough of the zeitgeist that
You would think.
Yeah.
Well, then you have to. Is the reference been updated for that kind of crowd?
No.
Oh, you got to find a contemporary horror reference.
But he's the one who hangs out in boiler rooms.
Oh, I see. It's
That's
tied
why
into a
it's-
whole
Yeah,
thing.
that's why it was like, oh, Freddy Krueger hangs out.
Well, now, did you ever do that at a college?
No, I'm trying to get 5 minutes of
It's a new
clean-
joke.
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
trying to get 5 minutes of like clean material together to potentially do on television. And most of it works. It's lame. I don't really like clean material.
No, but I bet that joke works in
Wait a
any
second.
group. Any
What?
group older than 25.
I don't like performing clean material. I like watching clean material. I don't think I'm a good enough writer to write clean material.
Really?
The stuff that I have that is clean, I don't particularly
Tell us the whole joke.
No, I'm not telling you.
Tell us the whole Freddy Krueger joke.
That's it. It's just a.
That's
it's a
it?
no. It's a tag in
And
a
then-
longer
okay,
bit
all
about
right.
living in a garden apartment. That's all. The whole point is the 18-year-olds didn't know who Freddy Krueger was.
You don't have enough confidence as a
18-year-olds
writer,
that go there at night?
It's 18 and over. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And it's not far from NYU.
so you're not confident enough as a writer to write clean material.
I don't like it enough. I don't think it sounds like me.
You
When
need
I'm
to, you need to
doing
be cursing to sound like you.
It just sounds lame
Without the cursing?
without the context.
Those are just shortcuts.
I want it to be like dark and edgy and
But that's got nothing to do with with
Life.
cursing.
I don't know.
You can write all that stuff, and it can be all those things, but you don't need expletives in it.
I know.
Huh.
That's what my manager keeps saying.
Well, I'm surprised at the Freddy Krueger thing, I guess, because yes, those
surprised.
movies are 40 years old.
I was
but
surprised.
I thought that was enough of like a legendary character.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah, that he would.
so they also
Like, I know
wouldn't,
my kids know Freddy Krueger.
they also
But they're
wouldn't
also
get
older than 18 now.
That's what I mean. Well, the oldest people in there couldn't have been 30.
Yeah.
You know.
So they also wouldn't get if you had thrown out like Jason or something like
Jason
that.
or-
What they
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
want to get if you said, "Hey, I'm trying to get a set on television
Yeah.
on a late night show," they'd be like, "What's that?"
What?
Well, after the set was going so poorly that afterwards I go, well, I'm not going to do that on Jimmy Fallon like that, and they kind
they're
of
like,
like
"Who's
chuckled. I'm like, do
Jimmy
you guys even know who Jimmy Fallon is? Like, get the
Well, it's New
hell outta
York. I
here.
mean, they know who he is.
Right.
He's got a ride at Universal Studios.
Yeah.
We went on the Jimmy Fallon ride when we went to Universal just to go inside and get some air conditioning. We got a Tonight Show ride where
But
you're
yeah.
flying through the air chasing Jimmy Fallon in an air car or something.
So
Wow, so they don't know Freddy Krueger. But
And
that's
I-
instructive. That's
I asked
interesting.
a friend of mine, she's like in her 40s, and I was like, is that reference too old or was this crowd too young? I was like, because I feel like it would play on Jimmy Fallon's YouTube. People are going to know who that is.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Well, my thought is
God, that
always
reboot was 14 years ago.
That's
now.
what I
Yeah.
mean. See, then I feel so old when I was like, damn, dude, if these kids are 22, they were 8 the last
Well-
time a Freddy Krueger movie came out.
But also, like when I'm writing stuff for this, I'm always trying to come up with a contemporary reference.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter if you're young or old. If you're old, you're living now.
Yeah.
I don't mean like a deep cut. Like people, if you're 45, 50, you're not going to make a TikTok reference and they're going to get who you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But my thought is always like, if there's it's just that some of those figures in pop culture
You would think.
have been around for so long
Yes.
that clearly they've hung out for a minute.
Right.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, that kind of shocked me. And my friend was like, I'd either cut the joke or find a way to update it. I was like, but there are no like
There's no other.
What's another boiler room
or
character?
even
that,
a horror movie.
Yeah.
There hasn't been like a lead horror villain.
I mean, the closest is like
Art the Clown, but even that's a crap
No,
shoot.
but I'm
I don't
thinking
know who
more
that is.
like Saw is the closest one.
That was from like
And
2002.
that's
That's
still a
still
long time
older.
ago, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. The Babadook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, even that, how long ago did Babadook come out? Probably 10 years ago.
10 years ago. The crowd might be too young.
You might be in luck though, because I
made
think
a
they
Jerry
might be
Springer
doing
reference too.
another.
That didn't do anything.
Because you can't just be writing for 22-year-olds.
No, I would never.
Well, no, just because you don't know what they know and don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Jerry Springer and Freddy Krueger in the same 5-minute set. Not going to play. I'll tell you that much. Not going to play.
Yeah, but only in that room.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a new Freddy. You might not have to change it. You might just have to be patient.
Just got to wait.
There's a series coming out on Max
Oh.
called Fred.
Perfect.
No, that's fake.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, that's AI.
Ah,
Yeah, that's fake.
damn it.
Oh, was it about the preamble where what did he do? Did he kill the kids? Did he rape? What did he do?
He killed
to
the
kids?
children.
Yeah.
Just because he hated kids?
Oh,
Because
they had DJ Qualls as the.
Yeah. No, because the parents got together and thought that he was a pederast, but he wasn't. So they thought he was a pedophile.
Right.
He wasn't. They locked him in the boiler room and burned him alive.
Right.
So he comes back to haunt and kill the children of the Elm Street parents.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
So he was wrongly accused,
Correct.
killed, and now has vengeance.
Having vengeance in their dreams. Yes. If I recall correctly, and I think that I do.
Okay.
I thought
That's
he was
the Freddy
a pedophile.
Krueger. I don't think
that
he
that
was.
he was like killing kids, and then they burned him, and then he came back.
I think his vengeance came from the fact that he was unfairly accused by the parents of that town.
Did Freddy Krueger touch kids? Is the first thing that comes up when you type, did Freddy Krueger?
Yeah, I don't think that he did.
Oh, this says he did. Well, in the 2010 remake, Freddy's backstory is that he was a groundskeeper at the school, and he tortured and sexually abused the teenagers of the film when they were children.
I think that they retconned Freddy Krueger, though, for the remake. Because then why would he come back to kill the... I mean, if it's a revenge tale originally, that makes sense. If he was a legit pederast, why would he come back to kill or to haunt children, you know? I don't know.
So, according to Reddit, they're saying that it was always kind of implied that he was, but never blatantly said in the original movie that he did.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought he was doing some stuff.
Okay.
Someone says this is in the height of the daycare sex
Oh.
abuse panic?
No, I'm sorry. Okay, so here's the original, 1984. The parents explained that Freddy Krueger was an insane child murderer who killed 20 children but was released on a technicality. He was then burned alive by the victim's parents because he got off on a technicality.
Got
so
it.
he
He
was...
did kill.
he
Okay,
did
that's what I
kill.
thought.
Okay.
I was like, they didn't just burn this guy because they thought he might have touched someone.
Well, kids tell stories all the time
Yeah.
that gets people in trouble. Yeah, okay.
So he got off on a technicality.
Burned
and then-
alive by the victim's parents who lived in their street seeking vigilante justice. Krueger,
Yes.
now a vengeful ghost, is killing the friends out of revenge and to satiate his psychopathic needs. You'd think that would all go away once you died.
Mm-mm. Unfinished business, babe. Recipe for a ghost.
It is. And just a pinch of sage. You know how they hate sage?
They do.
My favorite scene, I am not going to say in any horror movie because there were so many good ones in the 80s, but my favorite scene in that movie is the very end where Nancy's leaving and her mom is waving, and Freddy comes through the window of the front door and pulls her mother through this tiny that is so clearly a dummy of a woman, so that they can get it through the tiny window of the front door. It is very hilarious to me when you go back and watch that.
I think Johnny Depp dies by getting clamped in a bed.
Yeah,
Isn't
there's
that how
blood
he
in the
dies?
ceiling. Yeah,
whereas like the bed folds in half and then it squishes him.
Well, no, I think he's dead by then. Like then Freddy gets
he
slashes
him.
I think
Okay.
so. Yeah.
I also remember how scary it was when I was a kid when he like pushed through the wall.
Yeah.
Like that. Like as a kid, I'm like, that's so
He
scary.
lives in the walls.
But then you like watch it as an adult, and you're just like, oh, he's just pushing up against a piece of like
rubber.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
like, it looks so stupid.
Well, and also like I remember like Dream Warriors, like Nightmare on Elm Street 2. It wasn't my favorite. 3 I thought was pretty solid because it hit me at just the right.
see
Dream
which
Warriors had a
ones.
docking music in it, and a whole thing.
What's the one like Freddy's Dead? I think where they kill him and like they bring him into our world to kill him.
Yeah, it's like a meta kind of vibe.
That
on
one was
the movie.
that one was fun.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the one. Maybe it's the Wes
Nightmare.
Craven one, 94. The one where the kids are grown up and the one kid is in like a psych hospital and he has to take the pills so he can't dream. Like they specifically give him pills that make him not dream.
Okay.
And then he
I think that's a new nightmare.
He starts to time out when he would take the pills so he could try to fight Freddy and bring people into his dreams. That's one that I remember pretty clearly.
I don't know if anybody remembers the actor David Warner. He was in he was a British actor. He was one of the main dudes in Tron, for people who remember. If you Google David Warner, you might remember him. But he was originally cast to play Freddy Krueger, and they did some makeup tests and they did some other things, and they were like, it's not going to work out for this guy. And so they got Robert Englund, who was a classically trained actor. And Robert Englund, if you ever get a chance, if he ever corners you in a bar, by the way, which he did me. My wife worked on a movie years ago with him, and they had the rap party at this bar in Medina. And he cornered me and was chatting with nice man, very nice. But he talked to me for an hour about, he wanted everybody to know that he was classically trained because he was so associated with Freddy Krueger that he kind of made a deal with the devil. Like, he didn't know that was going to be what it became. So on the one hand, he's like, yeah, I'm glad I got to play him. On the other hand, he's like, I'm playing Hamlet and stuff. He's like, people don't know what else I can do. So he really got kind of typecast.
I think you're right, Bill, that it was New Nightmare because then Freddy vs. Jason came out not far after that. Mm-hmm. And I remember being so stoked to see Freddy vs. Jason.
Them go after each other.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of a turd.
Wes Craven's New Nightmare. That was the one where the actors played themselves, right?
Yeah. And then wasn't there another,
There's Freddy versus Jason.
And then wasn't there another one after that where it was
the reboot? The last original one was Freddy versus Jason. And that was
2003.
Yeah.
There
then
wasn't
they rebooted
another one where there was more than one monster? Where it was like 3 or 4 of them going at it?
No, I don't know about that.
Maybe not.
I think you're thinking of just the parody videos where they do Backstreet Boys.
I'm just thinking of the T-shirts that say "Friends" and it has all the.
But I thought the reboot was better than it needed to be. Jackie Earle Haley, I thought, was real good in it.
Jackie Earle Haley was good in it, but I just feel like it just didn't hit. It just wasn't scary because we weren't kids anymore.
Right. Yeah. And they were really up against it with that source material too.
Yeah.
But it had a lot of good people in it. It had Connie Britton and what's his name? Mr. Krabs, Clancy Brown. He was in
Mr. Krabs.
So, yeah. Anywho.
So he's going to get a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
No, you trying to make the Freddy Krueger joke.
But that's why I brought it up, is because you said Freddy Krueger
actor
Robert
Englund is getting
a star.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, he's finally getting recognized.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, David Warner was the guy who got decapitated by the glass in The Omen. Thank you. Speaking of movies that are better than they needed to be, there's one called The First Omen. It's a prequel to The Omen. It was real good. I enjoyed it. It's on, I don't know what it's on, Shudder or something, but Recipe for a Ghost, Mary, is at the Agora this weekend. You going to be able to hang around for that? I'm playing them on 2 hours to midnight.
Depending on the day, because I got my shows in Chicago and Royal Oak.
How about Ghostface from Scream as a reference? Again, it's around
That's
the boiler room.
So
It's got to be
old.
but you also got to be in the boiler room.
That's the only reason I use that line, is that I talk about living in a garden apartment, which is just a basement. And
I think
you
that
have to
was
walk
just
through the boiler room to
happened
get
to be
it.
a weird crowd that didn't get that. I think most people are going to get Freddy Krueger.
Because the line is where I'm talking about living in the basement and how weird it is to bring men over, and they'd be like, "Who's that weirdo standing next to the water heater?" And I say, "Oh, that's Mr. Krueger, Freddy. Don't worry, he can't hurt you while you're awake."
Right.
Or maybe just scrap the joke.
I could just scrap the joke. It's also not a very good joke, so I'm not that worried about it.
You got to get rid of it.
You know what? Just quit stand-up. Just move home. It's time.
Well, Wes Craven's from Cleveland.
Hey.
Yeah.
You think he's here
Yes.
right now?
Right outside.
Wes!
I thought you guys were in the studio with the window.
Come on
Let
over
me in.
here.
Kevin Bacon got
trying to
folded
get the
in a bed in
Superman.
Jason. No, Kevin Bacon got the arrow through the throat in Friday the 13th. In the
No,
first
Johnny
one.
Depp got folded in the bed.
Yeah.
Didn't he? How did
Got straight folded.
Depp die in Freddy Krueger? This is like...
How did the guy Yeah.
Freddy's arm shoots out of the bed that Glenn is sleeping in and pulls him into the hole. That's what it is. And then blood erupts up out of the bed.
Yeah.
Alan, I teach pre-K in Cleveland. Many of the kids know who Jason. Why would pre-kindergarten kids know who Jason and Freddy are? Because their parents like the movies. They're probably watching them in front of them. Oh, these
YouTube
maniac parents. Yeah. Well, it's funny now because all these streamers are merging. So you can go on Disney Plus because it's part of Hulu or Paramount something. You go on Disney Plus now and there's like full-on slasher films.
Yep.
Mixed in with The Simpsons and Star Wars. Mary could have used Groundskeeper Willie.
Even that, though. How old is that?
Well, but he's still an active character in a show.
Yeah.
Try it.
But
it doesn't matter.
You got a bunch you can try.
Yeah.
Groundskeeper Willie.
The whole point is that the jokes aren't very good. I don't really like my clean jokes.
Oh.
I need to write new ones. But I was surprised that they didn't even know. Because I asked them. I said, is that not funny or do you guys not know who I'm talking about? And they were like, we don't know who that is.
And they weren't trolling you.
I don't think so. Because I gave them the option to be like, we just didn't like that.